The sky turned a menacing orange, smoke choked the air, blotting out the sun. The iconic Hollywood sign, usually a beacon of dreams, was barely visible through the haze. Wildfires, fueled by fierce winds and years of drought, were raging across California. And now, they had reached the sprawling metropolis of Los Angeles. Flames danced menacingly on the hillsides overlooking the city, casting an eerie glow on the panicked faces below. The familiar roar of traffic was replaced by the insistent wail of sirens as fire trucks raced through the streets, their lights flashing urgently. The smell of burning pine and eucalyptus filled the air, a grim reminder of the destruction unfolding around them. Fear gripped the hearts of Angelenos, a fear that whispered of homes lost, lives shattered, and a future shrouded in uncertainty. This wasn't the first time wildfires had threatened the city, but the intensity and speed of this year's blazes were unlike anything seen before. As embers rained down on neighborhoods, igniting homes and businesses, the reality sunk in. Los Angeles, the city that prided itself on resilience and reinvention, was facing its most formidable challenge yet. The 2025 California wildfire season had begun early and fiercely. The flames, which seemed to come out of nowhere, quickly spread across the dry landscape, catching both residents and officials off guard. The early morning sky was painted with hues of orange and red, a stark reminder of nature's fury. Across the state, millions of acres had already been scorched, leaving behind a barren wasteland where lush forests once stood. The once vibrant ecosystems, home to countless species of flora and fauna, were now reduced to ashes and charred remains. The trail of devastation stretched from the majestic forests of the north to the manicured suburbs of the south. In the suburbs, the contrast was even more jarring, with burned houses standing next to untouched green lawns, a testament to the unpredictable nature of the fires. The fires were relentless, fueled by a deadly combination of climate change, drought-stricken vegetation, and strong Santa Ana winds. These winds, known for their ferocity, turned small sparks into raging infernos, making the firefighters' job even more challenging. Official figures painted a grim picture. The statistics were staggering, with each passing day bringing news of more destruction and loss. Government officials held press conferences trying to provide updates and reassurance, but the gravity of the situation was evident. Over 20 major wildfires were burning simultaneously, each one a potential disaster in its own right. The map of California was dotted with fire markers, a visual representation of the widespread chaos. Satellite images showed vast plumes of smoke, visible even from space. The state's firefighting resources were stretched to their absolute limit. Firefighters, many of whom had been working non-stop for days, were exhausted. Fire stations were crowded and fire trucks were constantly en route to new blazes, a never-ending battle against the flames. Thousands of homes had been reduced to ashes, leaving countless families homeless. The smoking ruins of what were once vibrant neighborhoods stood as silent witnesses to the destruction. Aerial views revealed the full extent of the devastation, with entire blocks wiped out. The number of evacuees continued to climb, with more and more people being forced to leave their homes. Evacuation centers were overwhelmed, struggling to accommodate the influx of displaced residents. Families packed their cars with whatever belongings they could salvage, uncertain of what the future held. Shelters were overflowing and resources were strained. Makeshift shelters were set up in gymnasiums and community centers, with volunteers working tirelessly to organize supplies and provide support. Families huddled together trying to find some semblance of normalcy amidst the chaos. Entire communities had been transformed into ghost towns, their streets eerily deserted save for the charred remains of what were once homes and businesses. The silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once filled these neighborhoods. The charred remains of homes and businesses stood as haunting reminders of the fire's destructive power. Deserted business districts, once bustling with activity, were now eerily empty. The fire damage was extensive, leaving behind a landscape that was almost unrecognizable.
This is a climate emergency of unprecedented proportions. The scale and intensity of these fires are unlike anything we've seen before. The flames, which continue to consume vast swaths of land, are a stark reminder of the urgent need for action. The fires we are witnessing are a stark reminder of the urgent need for action. The charred landscapes and smoke-filled skies are a testament to the devastating impact of climate change. We can no longer afford to ignore the signs. We must act now to protect our planet. We must come together as Californians and as Americans to combat climate change and protect our communities. The rebuilding efforts have already begun, with people working together to clear debris and provide aid. Volunteers are distributing supplies, and communities are coming together to support one another.
His words echoed the fears and anxieties of millions, resonating deeply with those who had been directly affected by the fires. The worried faces of people watching the news, their anxious eyes reflecting the uncertainty of the future, were a common sight. But his words also served as a rallying cry, a call to action in the face of unimaginable adversity. Communities gathered to support each other, holding meetings and coming together in solidarity. People held hands, finding strength in their unity. The call to action was clear: we must stand together and fight. Firefighters geared up for another day on the front lines, community volunteers organized supplies, and residents prepared to evacuate if necessary. In the face of such adversity, the spirit of resilience and determination shone through. In the face of this inferno, a different breed of heroes emerged: the firefighters. These brave individuals, clad in their protective gear, stood as the last bastion of hope against the relentless flames. Working tirelessly, often without sleep or respite, these brave men and women were the last line of defense between the flames and the communities they swore to protect. Their commitment was unwavering, even as exhaustion set in, and the nights grew longer and more perilous. Their courage and dedication were nothing short of awe-inspiring as they risked their lives to save others, pushing their physical and mental limits to the brink. Each firefighter faced the inferno with a steely resolve, their determined expressions a testament to their unyielding spirit. From the air, helicopters and airplanes dropped water and fire retardant, trying to contain the blaze. These aerial operations were crucial in slowing the fire's advance, providing much-needed support to the ground crews battling the flames below. On the ground, firefighters battled the flames inch by inch using hoses, chainsaws, and sheer grit to create fire breaks and protect structures. Their efforts were a coordinated dance of precision and strength, each move calculated to outsmart the fire and safeguard lives and property. The heat was intense, the smoke suffocating and the danger ever present. Yet they pressed on, driven by a deep sense of duty and a profound respect for the raw power of nature they faced. Every breath was a struggle, every step a challenge, but their resolve never wavered.
You just go into autopilot. The adrenaline kicks in and you focus on the task at hand. In those moments, there's no room for fear or hesitation, only action and determination. Saving lives, protecting property, that's what keeps us going. Each rescue, each home saved, is a victory against the relentless force of the fire.
Her words were echoed by countless others on the front lines, their voices hoarse from smoke inhalation, their bodies weary but their spirits unbroken. These firefighters, with soot-covered faces and exhausted expressions, embodied the true essence of heroism. They were the true heroes of this disaster, the embodiment of courage, dedication, and selflessness. Their teamwork and camaraderie were evident in every action as they worked together seamlessly to combat the fire and protect their communities. Each firefighter, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos, showed the world what it means to be a hero. In a testament to the scale of the disaster, California turned to an unconventional source of manpower: prisoners. For years, the state had employed low-risk inmates in its fire camps, providing them with training and experience in wildland firefighting. This year, their role was more critical than ever.
Dressed in fire-resistant orange jumpsuits, these inmate firefighters worked alongside the professionals, clearing brush, digging fire lines, and assisting in any way they could. Their efforts were not only invaluable in combating the blazes, but also offered a chance at redemption, a way to give back to the community and earn a sense of purpose.
"We may have made mistakes in the past," said Michael Johnson, an inmate firefighter serving time for drug possession. "But out here, we're just trying to do some good. Fighting these fires, it gives us a chance to prove that we can be better, that we can be assets to society." Their dedication and hard work did not go unnoticed, earning them the respect of their professional counterparts and offering a glimmer of hope in the midst of tragedy. For thousands of Californians, the wildfires meant fleeing their homes, leaving behind everything familiar in a desperate bid for survival. The fires spread rapidly, consuming everything in their path, leaving residents with no choice but to abandon their homes and possessions. The sense of urgency was palpable as people scrambled to gather their loved ones and whatever essentials they could carry. The evacuation orders came swiftly, leaving little time to pack or process the gravity of the situation. Sirens blared and emergency broadcasts filled the airwaves, urging residents to leave immediately. There was no time to think, only to act. The fear and confusion were overwhelming as people tried to comprehend the magnitude of the disaster unfolding around them. Highways were jammed with cars, their headlights cutting through the smoke-filled air as families journeyed into the unknown, their hearts heavy with uncertainty. The roads, usually bustling with the routine of daily life, were now filled with a sense of desperation and urgency. Each car carried a story of fear, hope, and the unknown future that lay ahead.
Sarah Miller, a single mother from Malibu, recalled the frantic evacuation with her 2 young children. The chaos of the moment was etched in her memory, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the suddenness with which everything can change. "It all happened so fast," she said, her voice trembling. One moment they were safe at home, and the next they were thrust into a whirlwind of fear and uncertainty. The speed at which they had to leave left little room for thought, only action. "We grabbed what we could and just drove." The urgency of the situation left no time for second-guessing or hesitation. Every second counted, and the priority was to get to safety as quickly as possible. I kept looking in the rearview mirror, expecting to see flames, but all I saw was smoke, this thick, choking smoke. The sight was haunting, a constant reminder of the danger they were fleeing from. The smoke seemed to follow them, a relentless presence that refused to be left behind.
Her story was just one of thousands, each one a testament to the fear, loss, and displacement caused by the wildfires. The destruction left in the wake of the fires was unimaginable, with entire neighborhoods reduced to ashes. The scale of the devastation was a stark reminder of the power of nature and the vulnerability of human life. At evacuation centers, the mood was a mixture of anxiety and resilience. People clung to hope, even as they faced the uncertainty of their future. The shelters were filled with stories of escape, loss, and the small victories of survival. Families huddled together, seeking solace in shared stories of escape and offering comfort to those who had lost everything. The sense of community was strong, with people coming together to support one another in their time of need. The bonds formed in these moments of crisis were a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The uncertainty of their situation weighed heavily on their minds. When would they be able to return home? The questions were endless, and the answers were few. The future was a vast unknown, filled with both hope and fear. What would they find when they did? The thought of returning to a place that might no longer exist as they remembered it was daunting. The reality of the destruction was hard to grasp, and the road to recovery seemed long and uncertain. These questions lingered in the air, a constant reminder of the long and arduous road to recovery that lay ahead. The journey to rebuild their lives and communities would be challenging, but the spirit of resilience and hope would guide them through the darkest of times.